When it comes to supplemental kits, I want you to just think of it as things that don't fit in the baseline that are not applicable to every situation. But they could be applicable to other situations, so you're preparing that stuff in advance so that you have it pre-staged on standby and it's there to supplement that baseline kit. And you're not limited to the urban supplemental kit or the cold weather supplemental kit that we've talked about before. You can, based on your plan, identify a lot of different contingencies that you may need to develop a supplemental kit for. A couple of those contingencies may be you want to have a more robust medical kit, a medical supplemental. And this is a full backpack of medical gear that's designed to supplement the IFAK that I carry in my baseline go bag. And I won't go into detail about everything that's in here because I already covered everything that's in here and how to use it on my Wilderness Medical film, so I recommend you check that out to get details on this. The point that I'm trying to make here is that, if the IFAK isn't going to be enough, or if you're traveling with a group, or you want to have additional medical supplies at your alternate bug-in location, or in your vehicle, or in your home, then I would consider that a medical supplemental kit, and I think that's a great idea. This is an example of that. Another supplemental kit that I like to keep personally, and it may fit into your plan and it may be applicable to certain situations, is what I call a camouflage supplemental kit. It's not a full-blown tactical supplement. It has more to do with moving with some stealth and concealed and trying to hide better in a wilderness setting. Camouflage patterns may not be applicable to your plan at all, but a camouflage pattern may be applicable if the majority of your movement includes moving through the forest or moving through the wilderness, whatever type of wilderness you have in your environment. It may be a good idea to think about, not only the gray man principle where you're wearing civilian clothes and looking like the rest of the population, but when you're trying to not look like everyone else, you're trying to not be seen, trying not to be found. A camouflage pattern is an effective way to do that. And of course, you could also just choose neutral colored civilian clothing, which your browns and your tans and your olive and kind of your khaki colors blend really well in a number of different environments, but they don't necessarily break up patterns like a camouflage pattern does. So that, again, that's up to you, that's up to your plan and what your situation is and the contingencies that you're preparing these supplemental kits for. But at a minimum, I would recommend having a camouflage supplemental that includes, just a set of camis, a set of a camouflage uniform type of thing, or your hunting camo. You could use that as well. Any camouflage pattern that works well in your environment that you have, tuck that away so you know where it is in case you need it. You can grab it quickly, put that in your supplemental kit. My particular supplemental kit, just as a baseline, I've got at least a pair of pants and a shirt, a t-shirt, and a boonie cap, a jungle cap that really does well at breaking up the outline of my head. So that's my baseline that I would use for all the time travel through the forest if I wanted to be a little more concealed. That's kind of a baseline. At a minimum, this is what I would want. You can go all the way up to where you have either a partial or a full ghillie suit. You could have a Viper hood. You could just use just the ghillie suit hat and break up a lot of your pattern. It really depends on your skill level, your training, your plan. You could have a complete full ghillie suit. What I will say though is, having this by itself is not something I would ever do, because I can get away with and get pretty close to pretty much anything with just this pattern on. I could probably do it with neutral colored, natural colored clothing as well. But there are situations I can think of where this would be extremely handy. But one thing I learned from being a sniper is that I don't want to put this on until I absolutely have to. This isn't something I'm going to wear just walking around the forest. This is something I'm going to wear when I expect that somebody may be able to see me and I need a little additional help breaking up my pattern. I'm not going to wear this from point A to point B on a bug out by any means, but it may be handy to have, even if it's just in a vehicle supplemental kit or a supplemental kit in my vehicle in my current location, my bug-in location, or my alternate bug-in location. So something to think about if that fits your plan. This is what fits my plan and what I choose to carry. This is kind of my minimalist camouflage, and this is kind of my maximum camouflage. And then you could also just do a Viper hood if you wanted, which is kind of a more small, more compact and packable version of this. It's up to you. It's up to your plan. But if you think these are something that's handy, if this is in the contingencies that you've thought of for you and your family, then I recommend you set these things aside or at least start preparing them now so that you can set them aside in the event that you do need them. They'll be right there, you'll know exactly where they are, and you'll know how to use them.